Okay, so on this channel, we've talked a lot about how Twitch is very biased against VTubers in the sense that, they set up all of these guidelines and things, and, it seems like they get targeted way more than a lot of IRL creators, and sometimes it's over stuff that isn't even that bad, right? And we've had many cases of this, for example, like Lucy Pyre, who got banned for her outfit, which obviously was pretty ridiculous, as well as, FeFe as well, who also got banned for their outfit. And again, that was a more recent one, which happened the other day. Some people were, pointing out Shy Lily as well, kind of making comparisons with the two outfits, saying like, if she's getting banned, then, maybe Shy Lily should be banned for her ones, which obviously, started up a whole debate about that. Now, again, it is pretty ridiculous. And the state of Twitch in terms of how they handle VTubers and their kind of outfits and all that kind of stuff has gotten pretty bad, right? And especially it gets even worse whenever you have certain clips that pop up, whenever it comes to IRL creators making content, right? And recently there was a very, very viral clip that went pretty insane over on Twitter, which I kind of wanted to talk about and kind of explain why this is pretty ridiculous, as well as the fact that they called out VTubers literally themselves as well, which I thought was pretty insane. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's essentially a clip of Morgpie having someone on her stream in, obviously a suit there. I'm just going to say a suit. That's it. That's what I'm going to say, so I don't get bonked. But yeah, essentially, that was it. She like had a clicker or whatever, and he went and sat on the bed. Now, again, it's weird, right? This shouldn't exist on, kind of Twitch and whatever. And they do have TOS rules against this, to the point where there should be classification labels and that you shouldn't really be on just chatting and doing this kind of stuff and etc, right? And a lot of people were not happy because it's a platform that, kids are on. It's a platform that, a ton of different people are on. And, obviously it's a little bit weird whenever you're exposing children to this kind of, fetish behavior, right? And again, if you want to go do that in your own time or do that, on a different website that is an adult kind of orientated one, then sure, I understand that. But you think about the many kids that are on Twitch and, watching this, and they come across this stream right on the homepage because, Morgpie is a big streamer. It's just a little bit weird, right? You're literally giving this kind of content to kids, and I just think that is so odd. But essentially, she got a lot of backlash over it, and then she responded to a lot of it, including calling out the VTuber community for always inserting themselves into Twitch controversies, saying they should actually read the TOS instead of getting upset to her. So yeah, this is what she has said here.
Anytime anybody does something controversial on Twitch, the VTubers all come out. They're like, but we can't do whatever we want all the time.
Which is true, by the way. I mean, it's one of these things where, yes, VTubers will insert themselves into situations like this because the situation with VTubers at the moment, and in terms of how Twitch handles their guidelines in regards to VTubers, is pretty terrible. So any opportunity they can, especially a big one like this, of course they're going to make a quote retweet. Of course they're going to make a post on it saying like, hey, how is this allowed, but we're not allowed this, right? Because it is pretty ridiculous. It's a valid point, and I think getting mad at it is just pretty crazy, right?
It's like, they're like, okay, but you can't have exposed hips. Yeah, because it explicitly says that in the TOS that you just read the TOS! You know what I do when I wanna do something on stream? I just read the TOS.
Now, she might not be very good at reading the TOS, because if you didn't know, Morgpie has a very prolific past of being banned. And I'm pretty sure it's 13 times. A quick Google search will show you she's been banned 13 times. So she says, hey, just read the TOS. I always read the TOS before I go live, and you should make it seem like she has no problems. You clearly do, because you've been banned 13 times. So I'm assuming that Morgpie just can't read, because I don't know why else she'd be saying read the TOS and still, be banned 13 times. How can you get banned 13 times and be reading the TOS? It almost implies that maybe the TOS isn't actually that good, you know, or you're pushing the boundaries of the TOS, and you know that you're pushing the boundaries of the TOS. And I know she knows that she's pushing the boundaries of the TOS because that was entirely her content, especially a couple of years ago whenever she was pushing the boundaries, and they actually had to make new rules because of the stuff that she was doing on stream, right?
I just read the TOS. It explicitly says it in the TOS that you can't show your hips on stream. That's been a thing for like 2 years. Dude, that shit changed like 2 years ago. That's 2024, man. 2020 fucking 4. Anytime.
That's also the thing as well, right? So you should read the TOS, etc., 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 right? But, you know, showing a little bit of hip, I mean, let's be real, right? You know, I think that shouldn't be a rule in the first place. I think it is crazy that it is even a TOS rule if that is the case, right? So again, I think they're completely going down the wrong argument there. They say Twitch has been known to bend their own rules to favor top streamers. If the TOS was enforced fairly, Morgpie would have been banned already. And obviously they put some articles here, including, yeah, a lot of the community guidelines and saying, you know, hey, examples, you know, streamers must label their stream if they solicit content for money, services, of value, including cheering business subs. Examples of what requires a classification label, but are not limited to, and then obviously it says here, wearing a, yeah, one of those kind of associated outfits, which obviously is, yeah, crazy. So yeah, obviously a lot of people were not happy about that. And people saying, did she read the TOS about shock collars not being allowed around necks? Saying unsolicited opinions from our live shoes. You know, saying I read it. Now what? Which is crazy. The young man, the woman is hilarious. I'm more ashamed to be associated with men because whoever the guy in the suit is a total disgrace for men and should have his man card revoked. Which obviously, you know, it's their own thing. Like, you know, personally, I don't get it, but sure, if they want to do that, right? But not on Twitch, right? That's the kind of case that a lot of people are making, right? And there's been a lot of quote retweets as well to this post, saying Morgpie is literally the reason new rules have to be added to the TOS because she's been banned 11 times. Yeah, people saying 11. I'm pretty sure it's 13. You search it up, it says 13. But they're saying the TOS also points out the fetish content is prohibited, but you had a man gimp on your stream. Saying this has been suspended 11 times. She doesn't know how to read. Is the TOS in the room with us, Morgpie? Obviously, yeah, kind of circling that one. And so many more people have been kind of going after her, saying, I still maintain my opinion that people like Morgpie are probably giving Dan Clancy favors in return for preferential treatment on Twitch. I mean, you never know, right? Saying the TOS got worse because of you, specifically you, Morgpie. The hip clause was because of your green screen meta stuff. You're a successful blank star. You make stupid bank. Instead, you shoot up Twitch, make things worse for people that only have it, and then go just read lol. Which yeah, obviously is crazy. Rima saying because we get bonked for the slightest slip. Well, people get away, would like her get away with so much worse over and over again, which I think, yeah, is true. Saying we're tired of cam blanks, but Dan Clancy makes rules based off of what his cook likes, not TOS. Which, I mean, yeah, that's crazy. They ban her and every creator like her, get her off the platform. Creators like her are ruining Twitch and running actual creators and viewers off the platform. They make a lot of money short term, but they completely destroy the credibility and reputation of the platform long term. You know, Nasagi saying she's unironically brain dead. So first off, she's been banned over a dozen times at this point. But second off, VTubers care because we're playing by a totally different TOS that's stricter to us, and the website refuses to tell us what it is. We just have to feel it out and hope we found it out, which yeah, obviously is true. Saying I do not want to hear the TOS lectures from people whose whole brand is pushing as close to cam model territory as possible while pretending it's not sexual content. That said, Twitch's TOS is inconsistent as hell and badly needs a full rewrite. 100% true. Just write that, which I guess true. Say I hope this girl never has kids because I'd be bullied if my mum turned out to be Morgpie. I mean, you're not wrong, right? Saying, let's not normalize this on a 13 plus platform. Remember whenever it's just about people playing video games. Obviously, the Pokemon quote there, the famous Pokemon quote. can we just go back to playing video games instead of drama baiting? Which, that's also funny. And then Morgpie actually responded to this, right? And then obviously was going after the VTuber community saying, just want to say that I love VTubers. I think they're the real pioneers of streaming. I really don't see the parallel between attire policy and someone wearing a full gimp as a joke. There is a really big parallel there. I talk out of my ass on stream all the time. It's all in fun and no malice, whatever. If you watch this full segment, the segment is clear as I break up every other sentence with praise for the VTuber community. So now she's backtracking on this, which I think is quite funny. And obviously a lot of people probably clowning on that one too, which obviously, yeah, people say, I'm a very unserious person on the platform where everything is taken extremely seriously. It's not your fault that your action is TOS friendly. But if you're serious about your apology, post feet. That's crazy. Nah, you scared they're gonna jump you? And nah, I genuinely don't want to piss people off. I love VTubers, which again, I mean, you know, it's a really big contrast to the clip where she's getting pretty mad at them. But I guess, you know, maybe they've had a little bit of a change. I don't know. But I think it is pretty crazy. The kind of switch up, right? I don't know if there's any quotes or anything that people have said. So the same person who went fully naked on stream. Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. But yeah, that's essentially all there is for this situation. I just kind of wanted to, you know, kind of cover that because, again, a lot of people have been talking about it, especially with this post of her calling out the VTuber community. And yeah, I feel like it is a pretty crazy, you know, situation in general. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazo, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.